this right now. It might take us a little while. So if you want to start out by checking this out first and seeing if you can get the answer, that would be very helpful. All right. So be sure to check that out. The Instructional Technology Facilitators. Today it's me, and I'm an elementary ITF. If you guys don't know that, I serve 8 schools out kind of South Gastonia and Cherryville. And with me is Kyle.
Hey guys, I do Beaumont, Mount Holly, and Trey.
Yep. Excellent. All right, so let me put this in present mode. Uh-oh. Organizing content in Schoology. That's what we're doing today. And this is our agenda, creating a landing page. And then that's going to be me doing the fun, cute stuff. And then organizing a module and formulating a learning plan is when Kyle is going to hop in and take over. And if we have time, we're going to talk about navigation buttons. If not, I've got a great video that I spent a lot of time this morning redoing because I put the unedited version up on YouTube and then all my modules. So it's great to check it out if we don't get to it today. This is our DLC that we're going to be doing, and you will get digital learning credit. So there is going to be an artifact at the end, so heads up with that. And for this one, it's designing technology and rich lesson learning experiences. So let's get started with the chat. That's what I want us to do right now is, what are you using your homeroom course for in Schoology? Use the chat feature to tell me, and be sure to include your name, subject, grade level when you do this. Okay, there we go. Updates, attendance, okay, thank you, Caitlin. Meeting links, yep. Yep, oh, it's flying fast. Information, yep. Daily check-in, morning meeting, information. Great. Yep, and that's what I figured. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that you are supposed to put your content into each subject area. So your math into math, science and science, ELA into ELA. So I'm seeing a lot for communication and notes and stuff. So, and that's great. But what I am wanting to show you today is how we can create it to be a landing page in your homeroom. So especially for the K2 littles, 3 through 5 may learn a lot quicker, and you don't need that. They'll learn the navigational part. But especially for the littles, we want to keep things very visual. And by doing that, we can create a landing page to where you can teach your kids that all they need to do is to go into the homeroom, and it's going to take them everywhere else. So let me leave the presentation. Make sure you have the bit.ly. If not, we can add it back to the chat because I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to go into my Schoology. So if you guys want to hop over there with me, because we're going to learn about it. So this is my homeroom course. And I have created a landing page in Google Slides. And I'm just going to give you a quick tour around of what mine does. So, for example, I've created this and I have stuck with the fall theme right now. I got a little carried away. I cannot take credit for making the classroom, so to speak. But I can, I've got it linked, so if you want to use it, but I did create everything else and put my Bitmoji. If your microphone is not muted, could you please make sure your mic is muted? Okay. All right. So for example, let's say that my student, if I was a student and I came in here and I know I need to do something in reading today. So I'm training my students to go just to homeroom from courses. So because they're going to have, they're just going to look like this too, possibly. I know they're going to at least have the homeroom reading, math, science, social studies. So I've just taught them to go to homeroom, and then they would click on reading, and then reading will take them to my reading course. And then they can get to their activity from there. Also, let's say after they've completed their reading, they hop and they need to do math. So they just go up to the landing page and it takes them into their math course. Notice I've also linked it, and since it needs to be very visual and very consistent, everything red is math. My course profile picture, and we talked about that in Navigating Schoology 101, changing your course profile picture. The folder in my landing page is red, and also the folders within the materials in my course is red. So that's also another way when you're thinking about this, is especially for our littles, keeping it color coordinated, very consistent along the lines. But if they need to go back to homeroom, I have linked homeroom too. And so they just hop back over to homeroom. So how did I do this? Well, that's what I want to talk to you about today and share with you. Is the first thing we're going to do is open a new Google slide or drawing. This is created in Slides. You can use drawing. It will work the same. I just prefer Slides. And so I'm going to hop into my Google slide. And this was it. So if you guys are familiar with all the Bitmoji rage that's going on, especially if you took Teresa's course and you're addicted like everybody else is that took it. All of these were individual items. Like if I click, I brought it in as a picture now, but I designed it, or the person did, and I've played with one and brought all these items in, and then I've saved this as an image. I downloaded it as an image and then brought it in as my background. So nothing in here moves except for the folders that I created. So that's what I want you guys to do, is to open up a Google slide or a drawing. And the first thing we're going to do is add a background image. And if you guys don't know how to do that, I'm going to just open a new slide for you. I'm going to do a 2-finger tap on the slide and do change background. Or I can go up to slide and change background. Here, if you want to be just simple, you could just pick a nice pretty shade of blue, you know, a solid color. They even have gradients. Or you can choose an image. So this is where you can get really creative. You could go to the Google image search and do like a classroom background. And if you find one that you like, and definitely this is, I don't have time to be the creative part, so we're going to move right along, but you can pick something here and go from there.
Lord, I lost that.
Miss Tolly, could you please mute your mic? If you'll click on
Sorry.
You're okay. If you'll click on the mic button at the bottom of your screen,
I thought I had it muted, Kyle. I'm sorry.
No worries.
All right, guys. So once you've got a background in, and maybe for today you just want to put, because like I said, the creative part can come later. The process will not change. You can just put a color in. And so I always like to, for me, it bothers me to see the title and stuff on here. So I just do the 2-finger tap and do a layout and do blank. So I don't see any of that. And then is where I'm going to bring in some images or icons, whatever you choose to use for your little babies or your students, what you want to represent each of your courses. Because remember, this is a landing page, so we're going to be linking reading, math, science, social studies, homeroom, and we also could link where they go for your Google Meets, which you saw that my morning meeting was on there too. So go ahead and look in there and find something. You can insert a shape. How I made my folders, because I didn't want to go in and find any folders, is I just used, let me show that again because my dictionary came up. I did insert shape, and then I went to the second one that's rounded, and then just kind of made it look like a folder. Then I did it again to create like the little tab part. And then notice that that tab is kind of on the front, so I ordered it, 2-finger tap to the back. And then I just grouped it together, 2-finger tap and then group. So now I have me a decent looking folder. There again, you can go on Google or anywhere that you can get your copyright-free images to use and bring in something way cuter. But for today, I'm going simple. And then I inserted my Wordart. So if this was math, of course, and the reason I did Wordart and not a text box is because I can link to it because it acts like an image. And then, of course, I have all my properties up here on my toolbar. So let's say, like for mine, my math is red. So I was going to fill it with red. Okay, thanks, Heather, for that question, because I know that that is happening a lot. So one of the suggestions we're saying for you guys that are having multiple homerooms, you're having rosters, then you're losing rosters. Yes, you should have a homeroom, but it coming and going right now, I would build everything in a sandbox course right now and then copy it to the homeroom. And then if something happens to that homeroom or the course gets pulled, you still have that copy, and then you can just recopy it to the new course or the homeroom when it comes in. Does that make sense, Heather? Okay. And if you need any more help, let me know. What did you do for the text? Okay, for the text, I did an insert Wordart. So let me show you how I did that again. I went to insert and then to Wordart. And like I said, the reason I did this was because it makes it like an image, which is easy to link and manipulate. And then I put it in there, and then I can change the colors to however I want. So I've got a folder ready, and then notice that if you highlight over this, you can make it smaller and larger when you've got it together, and then you can do the 2-finger tap and group it all. So now that whole thing is one image. All right. Yep. Anytime. So here comes, that's the fun part. We've done the fun part, except, you know, I would definitely have dressed it up more like this. So let's pretend like this is absolutely beautiful and it is so ready to go. Well, let me show you one thing too. Once you've got it highlighted, you can Control C, Control V. Oops. Control C, Control V, and then I have a whole nother folder exactly the same size. And then all I have to do is change the color. So I think my homeroom was purple. Change that one to purple. And then this would say homeroom. Might have to squeeze it in a little bit. You know, do a little bit of playing, but it's the same size as my other one. So, okay, now I have two, and you saw how quick that was when I just copied it. here comes the fun part. Well, not the fun part, but the linking part. So now we've got to hop over to our Schoology page, and we have to go to that course. So the first one I did was math. So I'll pretend like I don't have a landing page right now. I'm going to go to my math course. And up at the top, notice that it has a distinct and a unique URL. Everything you do in Schoology will have a unique URL, which is very important. If I use an image instead of a shape. Okay, so let's see. What is the size of your page? Sorry, I didn't see those two questions. All right, let me go back then. And this is my fall landing page. Okay, so my page is just the normal size. Becca, and page setup, it's the widescreen 16.9. I didn't change anything on my page size. And then what if you use an image instead of a shape? How does it stick to with the Wordart so that I can make and resize it? Okay, so let me show you that. Let's just insert an image. Search the web. So let me just say the home icon. So we'll just say we're going to use this instead. So if you're not going to put any words on it, because each thing's just going to represent, when you click on the image, you have a link button right there. So then you can link it. Or you can just add, let's see, do the Wordart again. So when I kind of put it over it, you can do where you group them together. And then that way, when you click on it, it's one thing. And then I see what you're saying now, the link button is gone. So you have to draw a little individual shape. This is just a little extra step, like around it. Make it transparent. And then now that you have a shape, you can insert your link. Did that make sense? Curious, what is the point in making folders if we have the courses? It's up to you what you want to do. This is just something that you can do for your littles. You can teach your kids to just navigate through Schoology. So this is not something you have to do. So once I have my folders created, or my icon, or my picture, it could be flowers, it could be a math book, whatever you feel for very visual, especially for your littles. Once I get into here, I'm in my math course. Remember, I said that this is a URL up at the very top. It's very unique for each activity, assessment, anything that you do. I'm going to take this and then I'm going to copy it from here. Then I'm going to go back and click on this. Remember how I said, and then we're going to link it. So insert, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. I've got to put a shape over it. You have to give it this little shape for whatever reason and do the transparent. And then now I can link, and I'm going to paste the link in. And so now when the students click on this, it's going to take them back. It depends, Shelly, with your, would you make 2 math folders if you have 2 math classes? I guess it depends on if that's where the one student is going to go. That could get a little tricky. Kyle, do you have any suggestions with that, with the EC, having the regular and the EC class?
I mean, so to be honest with you, and Christy and I have talked about this before, they're supposed to be looking at ways to combine those two classes because it does isolate or have the possibility of isolating however many EC kids you have. If you do have kids in those EC sections, I honestly wouldn't use this landing page method at all because you're going to end up linking to a math course that some of your kids don't even have. So it won't work so hot. But to answer Carla's question, this is something that popped up as soon as people got Schoology because people didn't like the way Schoology looked. And so people had seen the Bitmoji classrooms that are really attractive and work really well, and wanted to link them together. But there's a few reasons why it doesn't always work so well, and the EC one that Shelly's been bringing up is a darn good point. So we want to make sure we showed you how to do this because it's been a question that has come up very frequently. And then as part of this, we wanted, Christy and I talking yesterday, we did want part of it to be that we want to make you aware of its limitations too, because people really want to do this because it looks really nice, but it does have drawbacks. And that's definitely one of them.
Yes, and I think that goes into the cohort A math folder and the cohort B math folder question. So you absolutely could. But it does have its limitations, and I'm also of sometimes sorry, I just lost my train of thought. It does have limitations. It is cute, but you can, like Kyle said, we've talked about this. When you look at your Schoology page, and I will show you how to do the transparent shape again, the navigational menu that they have up here. So like once you get down into an activity, if you look right here, these are always clickable. And just teaching your kids that, you absolutely can do all that. I have found in talking to really K1, the littles, this is very helpful right now because some of them can't even read. And so they need to see images, and you telling them to come up here because these are all words, this would help. But there again, it's all off of your needs and what your students need. So we're just showing you how to do it. So real quickly, let me show you again the transparent image. All I did was, because you've got to make it clickable, is I'll do it for homeroom. I just had to do a insert shape, and I just put a square over it. So if they click anywhere in that area, it's going to take it. And then I go up to the paint can and do transparent. And then I have to go one more over to the border color and do transparent too. So you can't see that it's there, but it's there. And so now I can link that. And what I'm going to do, I've linked the math and I've linked the homeroom. So I have to go back to here and pull that individual URL up at the top, copy and paste it, and then put it with the icon or shape or picture. And so now the next part is pretty easy. You will just go into, let me, so you will just now go into your class, and let me remove this really quick. I had it ready for all my videos. So I will go into updates, make sure it's an update because this is important. And then I'm going to go into insert, oops, sorry, wrong one, down here at the filing cabinet. And I'm going to go to my app and give it a minute. Like I said, I've got 2 people working right now. Very slow. While it's waiting, I'm going to copy the name of this because it may not come up. Usually your recents come up pretty quick. There we go. Still waiting. Let's see. Where's the transparent link again? I can answer that one. Oh, wow. This is fantastic. Hey, Leah, hang on. I'll show you that in just a second. Let me see if I X out of this, if I will get that again and not get the error. I hope not. Anyway, what you're going to do, so in case it doesn't work, is I'm going to find this and then embed it. So, you know, because I know you guys have been in there and seeing and pulling in things. So once it came up here in the list, I would click on it like right here, and then where you add resource, you import embed. It's the very last one, and it's got to be embedded. Okay, this is not good today. But anyway, so I would click here and then import resource. And then here's the big thing. I have to click the bell to get it to pin to the top. Yep. So that's when you click that, notice that it's going to stay up here no matter what is on or what updates come in. And I apologize that I cannot show you how to actually, but then it looks like this. You'll be able to resize it a little bit. So because it's going to come in and be very, very small. So pull on the corners and pull it out. This was an update. It's not in materials. You have to go to update. Yes. And I have a video on YouTube that shows you exactly how to do just this. So you don't have to watch this whole thing over. It's all on our YouTube page. So it's an update. You do not put this as a material. This goes in as an update. And then you have to click the bell. And you know you're in updates because in materials, you don't have a bell to pin. You would click this and then post it. And then, of course, you have to do this in all of your courses. Because in order for them to have a navigational menu, they have to, or a landing page, they have to be able to go back and forth in the same thing. So. And then I did say, somebody said, will you, wait, where's the transparent link again? Okay, real quick. So on here, what I did was, it wasn't a transparent link. I just made the shape. I clicked the paint can and made it transparent. I did the border transparent and the shape transparent, just so you couldn't see it. So it wouldn't ruin my pretty image. So just like I did over here with my home, there's the shape that went over home. And I just put that over there, and you can't see it, but that makes it to be able to be clicked. Yeah. All right, are there any other questions? Let me hop back over to the presentation. So I have linked, here is actually the video that will go over exactly how to do this step by step. And then these were the steps that we did, and testing it out is key. So you notice while I was in there, I was going back and forth to make sure that they worked and they're linking to the right place. So if you see this, how do you see this working with your students? If you think that this is something that you could use, because it may not work for you. Or what other ideas have you seen or tried besides just teaching them the navigational menu?
Well, Christy, I'll just add that I've seen a lot of different things. I've seen a lot of people that did the Bitmoji classrooms and linked to different courses, but I have seen a growing number, and I think that's what Carla was saying in the chat, of people who are just teaching them to go up to courses and go to the different ones. And I think that if you put pictures as your course profile pics, and they're clearly identifiable, it's kind of a similar thing. You can put Bitmojis on those too, and you can make them look really nice. But I haven't seen, I've seen only variations of those two things so far. I haven't seen a whole lot else. just to navigate to the courses, that is.
Yep. And Mr. Dellinger, that's a great idea. This would be very more visual for the parents too that are helping the students. It's kind of like the way I look at it, and I even think I said it in my video and the online self-paced course module that we've been adding the resources to. It's think about it's your classroom. There's 100 different ways to do this, just the same way as the 100 different ways you can decorate your classroom, arranging your desk to what you're going to put on the bulletin boards, the themes, the colors. You change from farmhouse to Mickey Mouse. I mean, it's all in what you see. We were getting tons and tons of questions because that is the craze right now, is the Bitmoji, and we wanted to show you how to do it. But like Cal has said, and Shelly pointed out, and a few others, this may not be the best for you. But if it is, you know how to do it. So the takeaways, so I can let Kyle have the rest of the time, so because his stuff is way important, is to make it very visual, okay? That's the big thing. Use different colors and icons to represent each course. So if you are going to do this, use your colors and icons and be consistent. Above all else, be very consistent. So what you do in one course needs to be the same. Like, you got to be consistent and keep it simple. Don't make this complicated, and don't make it complicated for you either. Guys, I know we're all under a lot of stress and there's not enough time in the day. Things are just crazy. So keep it as simple with you as possible. And so the menu has some limitations. So consider, if you have the older students, and even the younger ones will learn, show just the simple course navigation, because that is up there. And they will get used to them because those aren't going to change. So do you guys have any other questions for me? It would work well. Yes. Yes, Cynthia. I mean, Cindy, yes, absolutely. Yep. So that's all I have. Over to you, Kyle.
All right, I'm going to present too then.
Okay, yeah, let me stop. Oh, sorry.
No worries, you got it. All right. Hello, folks. So now this part of organization is where we wanted to give examples of how to organize the content inside of your courses. And where a lot of your questions are coming from with AB days and whatnot. So as Christy did, I will just ask you, how are you organizing the content within your courses? I don't mind if you chat or if you unmute for a second, just to kind of explain. I'm hearing that in the comments that we have a lot of folks that are clearly doing some sort of AB folders. What else? Anybody doing it any differently? Yeah, by week for sure. Yeah, and that's what I'm about to recommend that you do, regardless of your GPA or AB days or whatever you might have.
I have a question.
Fire away.
We were having a question about whether we should try to keep the remote all in 1 week or carry it over.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like if I have a B student and yeah, cohort B student, then they may be doing their Thursday, Friday material might be the Monday, Tuesday material for cohort A. So it might wrap around a calendar week. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, that's totally okay. It depends on how your lesson plans are, right? So if that's the way that it's hit, and with this first couple of weeks of school, that's very likely what has happened, because the kids that came the actual first 2 days of actual school may have ended up behind the ones you had Thursday, Friday last week. Once you've done it once, maybe it got a little bit better, and once the rosters settled out some, for some of you at least, and as that continue to happen for some of us, yeah, that might happen. So a week doesn't have to be Monday through Friday. It can certainly be Thursday through Wednesday.
But is it mandatory one way or the other?
It is absolutely not. No.
Okay, and if you were to do afterwards, how would you get the kids to organize it within a week?
So maybe instead of labeling it week, maybe you label it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and then it doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or maybe if you want to, like I said, a lot of folks are doing cohort A, cohort B, and that way, if you do get behind with one half, you're not behind in the other. I think that's doing a little bit of double work, which is why I don't want to do that. But you guys are also the ones that have had to live that the last 2 weeks, so you may probably do know better as to if it's worth that extra copy.
No,
question. Maybe this might help. But I've been dating mine, like for the cohort that's everybody's at home today, but like A. Then obviously they're at home tomorrow, so I've been putting like August the 27th and 28th. Well, it's actually 26th, 27th, 28th. And then for the B, I put like the dates for next week, like theirs will be August 31st through September 2nd, so that they do match. And like I do have like an A, B, but then I'm putting the dates as well so that it's very clear to them where to go.
And that's the thing, guys. I mean, there's no right answer to this because let's be honest, the LMS isn't set to do 2 different groups of kids in one course. It's just not made for that. It's made to push out content. Mr. Amsor's comment is a fantastic one and a good question, and unfortunately the answer is no, you can't. So because right, so what you have to do, she just made a face at me, that's why I'm laughing. What you have to do is you have to copy, so you make it and then you have to copy it to your resources and copy it back in, and that's what I'm saying. That's extra step. So if we can get around splitting A and B, I think we should. But again, you guys are going to live that, and you'll be able to say, nah, man, they're just too many different places. It doesn't work. I got to do my A and I got to do my B, and I trust you. I mean, so no, ma'am, no, Miss Boyce, this is not an edict or anything like that. Kyle can't do edicts, or we'd all make a lot of money. So, but I'm just going to give you my suggestion. So just like Christy has, I got a video in here that shows all this. And I'm gonna go through that now with you, and we'll get a little bit done, but we are running pretty long on time right now. So we'll yes, ma'am. What's that? Oh, okay. All right. So I'm suggesting, as we did in the beginning training, that we organize it by week, or by unit, or by topic, and then inside of that we have items. And you'll notice that in my little picture here, I'm sticking to the idea of not having more folders inside there. And something that we really like kind of measuring that by is how many clicks it takes a kid to get to the content. So if I get into my course and I know that I'm supposed to go to my reading course, let's say, how many times do I click until I find what I'm supposed to do, right? I have a 3rd grader and his teacher has it organized A-B. And but within the A and B, it is, like Shelly said, a really clear. It says day 1, do this. Hers doesn't say learn it, practice. I don't think. Actually, yeah, it does. It does. Just in front of it, it said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's certainly fine. So she does have it broken down that way, and it works really well. He seems to get it, and I think that's the key, is coming up with something and sticking to it. That once you train your kids to get to your content, they can use that same path each time. We just don't want to change it too much once we find something that we can live with. So here's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to show you how to do this and apply it. And I've broken mine down into 2 sort of segments. The first is I want to show you how to make a folder and insert content, like a video of you explaining the week maybe, into the folder. So obviously we won't have time today for you to stop and go shoot that video and bring it back, but I'll show you how to do it. Most of you have probably gotten to become friends with Loom, like many teachers have, and I'll show you that. And then I want to show you the power, I think, of something super simple in Schoology called Inline, and I'll show you that. It's not skates. I would fall. So here's how you do that. So you notice that this is my course, and I just got rid of my little Bitmoji banner like 10 minutes ago because I was playing with something, answering a question while Christy was talking. I was emailing somebody back about something. So right here, though, is my folder. So my kids would come to this, and they would see only this. So this is the folder for the week. And you'll notice that before I even click on the folder, I have a video sitting right here. Okay. This is where, this is not my mini lesson. This is, hey guys, here's how you're going to do this week. This is where I could say, hey, A kids, I want y'all to go ahead and get started on this. B kids, I want y'all to get started on that. And it's another time to put my face in front of them. It's not live, that I can continue to try to establish that classroom community and talk to my kids, which is what I know, knowing many of you guys in here today, I know we've talked about that a lot, being so important. So I want to show you how to do that, because it's weird when you make a folder to do that. Okay, but I think it's super important and it's pretty. So I'm going to go to add materials. And I'm going to make a folder like I normally would, and I would name it, the week, whatever it is this week. And I'm going to publish it and all that stuff. But I want to show you how to get the video there. So if I go to my Loom, and it would work the same way for Screencast-5 if you're using that still. Loom is up here, and you know how if I click it, it'll shoot my video. I don't need to do that. I've already shot the video, let's say. I'm going to right click on it or 2-finger click on it. And when you click Loom for Chrome, it'll take you to your page of stuff. Okay. If you've never gone here before, that's not surprising, because remember, when you first shoot a Loom video, it takes you to the page for that video anyway, that looks like this. Right? Like as soon as you shoot the video, it's like, thanks so much, have a nice day, and it sends you to this page, right? So if you were doing it, that would be the fastest way. If you had just shot a video, this would be the way to do it. So it would land you here, and let's say this is my, hello folks, welcome to the week. Again, Ms. Tully, can you mute your mic? So if you'll go down to share, which is like the arrow to the right, that's where you get a link, right? And you can just send it in an email or something. That's how we send stuff to you guys all the time. But to put it in the folder, you're going to go to embed. Now, again, as I said in the beginning of year training, the embed button sounds a little scary because it's code and we don't write code, but it does it for you. So I'm going to hit embed. I'm going to choose fixed size. And that just means that my video is going to be this size no matter how big the person's monitor is. It doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot, to be honest. But it seems to work better than responsive, which stretches it. So I'm going to hit copy code, and it looks like nothing happens except for it says the code has been copied. Right? So again, all I did was I shot my video like normal. I hit the arrow, I hit embed, fixed sized, copy code. Didn't have to write any code or anything. And then I'm going to go into my little thingy here. And I'm going to go to, well, there's several ways to do this. I can upload this all to YouTube and do that. But I want to show you that if I were in, let me go to my page real fast. If I were in my page and I copied the code, I could click on the little dots here and I can just paste in that code. I don't care what that looks like. I just paste in the code. I need a title. And when I hit create, my little lesson would appear there, right? So it's embedded. So it's not a link to it, it's me talking. But we're doing a folder, so it works a little bit differently. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. All right. So you'll notice that when I go to my folder, I don't have those dots. I don't know why, but they won't give me those dots. So I have to do one extra step. Okay. So that's if I want to share it and embed it. To get it into the folder, I've got to go download. It's going to have me download it to Drive if you're on a Chromebook, but I'm on a laptop. So it downloads it. And I'm going to put that from my my downloads into Drive. Okay. So let me go to Drive. Now I'm buffering a little bit. There we go. And I have my little video here. I'm just going to drag it into Drive. If you're on a Chromebook, it's already going to be sitting there for you. So I'm letting it upload, right? There she is. All right. So there she is. There's my video. If you don't see it right away, you can click here and it'll take you to it. There it is. And then I'm going to, now that it's in my Drive, I'm going to use that same button that we do to insert slideshows and stuff that Christy already showed you. I'm going to use this button. For some reason, it just doesn't have the code button on a folder. So I go insert content, Google Drive. You've probably done this before at some point this year already. I'm going to find the video. There is my video. You can tell it's a video because it's got the red icon. Looks like a, what's this thing? The clappers, the clackers or whatever that they do for movies. You hit import and import embed. I can't emphasize enough how important embedding things is. It's not just looks, it's less clicks. And that's important now with all this stuff. So it's going to take a moment to embed it, and there she is. You'll notice, and remember this from training before, that it shows the big yellow box, but when you hit create, it will appear the right way. And there she is. I just think that's really friendly, right? As soon as my kid comes to the folder, they see the video without clicking on the folder. I think that's super important. But it's spinning right now because I literally just uploaded that, so it's got a process, but it'll end up looking like that. Okay. Now, you probably want to know, though, how we actually organize content in the folder. Okay, so that's the trickier part. What I recommend is doing that list, right? Learn it, practice it, prove it, or learn it, practice it, evidence. I like the prove it thing. Somebody gave me that idea. If my kids click on this little greater than sign, this caret, they're going to see a long list of things. Now, this is directed towards you guys, the teachers, and I'll show you how to access this too, because this shows you how to do everything in here, as does Christy's stuff. So I don't want you to look at that list and go, oh my goodness, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's way too much stuff. But also, I'm not showing my kids to navigate this way. I want to show you a really subtle difference that makes all the difference in the world. And that is, instead of hitting this and unfolding it and seeing all that awful stuff, click on the name of the folder, and it actually takes you to a page for just that folder, right? And you'll notice that now some of my stuff appears here, right? It's not just a list. It actually shows up, right? It's in your face. And so my suggestion is to have a little item here. This is just a page where we type in like your I can statements, or maybe it's a checklist for the kids. This is what we want them to do this week. Below there is another page, but I've embedded my Google slideshow, which reminds me of what I saw a lot of y'all do in the spring when you made like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday like menu thing. That's this, okay? It's different than the menu thing Christy's talking about, because her menu is the answer to the question about how to navigate to the course. This is navigating inside of my course, right? So these links on my Google slideshow are actually going to pages in Schoology, which if you scroll, you'll see. So there's the ugly stuff. Right. So there's all those pages that have all the stuff the kids would do. Way too much. But if I sent them to this and they looked at that screen that you see right now that I'm presenting, that's way too much for any age kid, K-5. That is not cool. You should not do that. They will be very confused. But if you instead say, stop at the menu, it's visual, and I've linked you to this stuff, then now look what happens. So you see how there's this list of all this mess, right? Look what happens if I click my little menu, and you could label it cohort A and B, you could label it do this Monday, you know, whatever you want to do. When I click it, it opens. I've been booted. It opens. Yeah, apparently I don't have access to my own course. It opens the. It should open the link to this page right here. Let me try another one of these. Yeah, there we go. So it takes me directly to the page. Okay. Now, I will also emphasize that once you get into a page, so that's the page the first one should have gone to. Once you get into the page, you can click next and flip through it like a book, right? I'm just trying to show you ways to keep our kids away from the evil list, right? Because they can't read all that. And once they get into all of our pages, let me get back to them. So once they get to my little menu here, and once they get into my pages, you're going to notice that in my pages, there's more videos, right? Some of them are going to be like that's the actual mini lesson. Some of it's going to be, you know, me giving directions, and some of it's stuff I pulled from YouTube or something. Okay, it's not like you have to sit down and make 100 Loom videos a week. But one of the things I want to show you two things in a little bit of time we have left. One of them is the importance, I think, of using this, what's called Inline View, which is this. Instead of you just seeing the title of this page, you see the page, the contents of the page right in your face. And I think you should use that in moderation, right? You don't want all of it to show up because then you just made a really long list. And you don't want to do that. And then I want to show you really quickly the slideshow thing. And I feel certain we're going to run out of time before I get through both, but I'll try. So on the far right, when you're making a page, and I'm editing one, so it's different. But if you go to create this page, I put in a table, and the way I put in a table, and I just won't save this because I don't want to mess this up. But when I put in a table, it's just a table button at the top, like you would have in Google Docs. And I simply drew the size that I wanted. And you see it's ugly at first, but you can, as you type, you'll see that it stretches. Okay, so you can use this to kind of position things on the page. Right, and you can see how it automatically adjusts itself as I type. Okay, so that's how I made that little table. Nothing fancy there. But all I did to make it appear in line or to show up in your face is it's just this button right here. It literally says display in line. That's it. So let me show you the difference. If I turn it off, I'm scared to say the changes. I didn't screen anything up, did I? See how it's gone now, right? So that just fades into the background in Schoology, right? Your kids aren't going to look at that. So, but if you go back and you hit the little piece of paper, that's it. Hit save, it's right in your face. I love that. That's so simple. And it's like no more work. It's just the one button. Okay. The other option that we have is our slides. Now, you've been doing slides for Google Classroom for at least all spring, I'm sure. So you'll see on our training document on the next slide, you'll see a video on how to make this pathway. So Teresa Thompson actually made this particular template, and the template is linked right here. So what I'm suggesting in the apply it is make some of the stuff appear in line. Maybe the directions, maybe the mini lesson video, something visual that makes them feel ground anchored that this is what I'm learning this week. And then make a menu, just a suggestion that you make a menu for that thing. Okay, so when I go into this menu, let me just show you. So here it is, empty, and this link is there for all of you. It's just real simple. There's a learn about it page on there. You could easily just type over this. She's saved this as a background, but you can change it however you like, or make your own. And when you go to add a slide, the way Teresa has done this is awesome. There's a practice it page. So I can just go add practice it page, add evidence page. The only difference is it says that at the top. So you can make it prettier if you want to. But what I'm doing is I'm saying, all right, I'm going to do 2 mini lessons this week, 2 big ones, and then the other 3 days they're going to do the practices stuff and the evidence. So I would link it really the same way Christy showed you already. I would. Teresa has added little icons here, so I would use the same icons each time. So maybe my mini lesson, if it's going to be a video, I think there is one that looks sort of like a video. There it is, little video camera icon. So maybe this is the one I use all the time for stuff I want you to watch. Right? Just drag it over. And maybe I want to title it, right? So I'm going to put a text box. And I'm going to say this is my mini lesson for whatever it is. Okay. I'm going to be, as Shelly said, I'm going to be super descriptive. I mean, just a blatant, almost condescending in how and how ridiculously clear I label it. All right, so there's my words. All right, here's how easy it is to link it to stuff. Okay, so this is what's awesome. So let's say I've already made my pages. Okay, so I've made my little learn it page. I've made my little assignment, and mine's a Google form, and I made a Google assignment. I've made all sorts of stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of leading them down this list, I'm just going to say, you know what, I'm going to link it all together as a menu. So let me just click on this page after it's made, obviously. And it's as simple as saying, this is the link to this page. So I'm just going to copy it. Go to my Google slide template. There she is. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to hit the link button. Just like you link everything else. Just for those of you that came to our choice board training, they work exactly the same way, except for you're linking to the page in Schoology. And I'm going to link to the picture too, because, man, again, like before I said, I'm making it as painfully simple as I can. And I'm going to do that for all my stuff. And then I'm going to embed this PowerPoint, Google slide into my course. Okay. So the way I do that is, and I know I'm speeding up and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep your time, and I'll stay in as long as I need to. I want to make sure that it's shared so that anybody at Gaston County Schools can view it, just like I had to in Google Classroom. But when I go into Schoology to put it in, like I did this one, I'm just going to put it right here too and delete it before I mess mine up. I'm going to use that same button I used for the folder, and there we go. Inserting content, drive resource app, find the presentation I just made, whatever, it's not this one, but it'll work. Import, embed. And when I do that, it's going to pop in a yellow box and it's going to appear like that right there. And so even though these pages have to exist because my content's got to live somewhere in Schoology, I'm going to train my kids. I know all that mess is down there. Use my thing to tell you what to do when and all that. Now I'm still going to label it obnoxiously, right? I'm still going to label this day one, day two, but to keep it as visual as I can, I'm going to link it here. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this so I'm not messing up the original. Now I haven't been looking at the chat, so let me go back and see if there's any questions.
Kyle, the only one that I've been answering, the rest of them is, wait a minute, I'm finding it. They asked
Oh,
if
Lee,
you
that makes me
could
sad.
show how.
Sorry.
Meredith asked, how did you get it to show the next button to make it like a book?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's what's awesome is it does that. It just does it. So when everything's in the same folder, Meredith. So this is the folder, right? See my next. So when it's all in the same folder, it just scrolls through. You can just flip through. It's automatically there. It's awesome. And I mean, honestly, you could ditch everything I've mentioned this entire time and not do the menu and just say, hey kid, click next. That would work too. Yeah. Because it's going to say when you hit next, it's going to have at the top of it's going to say right here, day one, do this. And then when you hit next again, you could have it say day two. And I'm like, well, ain't day two yet. I'm done. You know, that is fine. That works great.
Kyle, if you do it that way, does it still have the links underneath it with everything? Like all the links that you had underneath, does it still show all those, or does it just show that top slide that you have there, or whatever, video or whatever?
Anything attached to that page. So like this is an assignment. So it only has, it's whatever's on that page. So like what happens is when I hit next, it's just scrolling basically. It's going from this item to this item to this item to this item.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
It shows everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Can I ask the dreaded question of how do we add things in like our investigations or a vocabulary or discovery ed or any of those other resources that we want the students to access?
So I've seen you do some element of that, but I've seen people just using the link from investigations pretty successfully, depending upon what they're linking to, and it doesn't make the kid log in.
Okay, so I didn't know if we needed to embed it into Schoology so that way it doesn't take them outside of Schoology. That's where I think my frustration was coming from.
Right, you can do that because I know you know how to do that, and that's fine. If people don't know how to do that, because it is kind of tough, then
yeah,
you can just link to it. Yeah. Now I have had people tell me though that sometimes it does make them log in. As far as like discovery and stuff, that's all behind Clever, so it's going to make you log into Clever.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
It's going to work just like Google Classroom, to be honest. It's going to make them log into Clever. Yeah, investigations is a tough one because if you want to assign stuff in investigations, you got to make a roster inside of investigations, and it's kind of a pain.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work, yeah. And so the most you can pull out from that link is fine. And two, I've had a lot of people ask me about how to get to the student activity pages, and the answer is take the book home. Like, that's okay. It's all right to write your math on a piece of paper. That's cool. In fact, you know, we talk a lot about screen time. I mean, it's actually maybe better that they go do that sometimes. But the videos that you've done before, I know that I've seen them work without login, but I don't know the rhyme or reason as to why they do and don't sometimes. We're out of time, so I'm going to stay and answer questions, but I'm going to stop running my app or adding stuff. And the takeaways because I want to make sure everybody knows how to get credit. I see people leaving already, so please don't leave because I want you to get your credit. Takeaways: breaking your units into manageable weeks. I like weeks, but if you find that it's better to not do that, if you find it's better to do little smaller chunks or larger ones, that's totally okay. Consider putting that video on the folder so that before the kid has to go anywhere, they see you and they see you explaining as their teacher what in the world they're supposed to do. I just think that's really powerful. Try the inline stuff because remember, it's more visual. Start your week with a checklist of some kind that says, here's what I need you to do. Maybe that's the Google slide menu to avoid the list. Maybe it's not. And think about mixing in brain breaks, especially on the remote days. It's like today. If they're home all day, please don't give them like 7 hours of stuff to do. Please don't, and please monitor how much stuff you're giving them to do that's on the computer. Don't give them like 2 already lessons and then something else to do in Google and then something else to do on Splash Math and then something else to do on Discovery. Please mix it up because they need eye strain rest just like us. But that's it for now. We do have an extra little portion down there about navigation that Christy has left for us, but we are way out of time. You do need to submit an artifact so that we can give you DLC credit. And there's a couple of options. You'll just add a menu to your homeroom like Christy did, or you can add a module like I showed you, either one. And if you'll submit it here by next Wednesday, that would be great. I'll show you what it's going to look like when you go to submit that. There's a page down on the next page. It's going to have a box for the link to what you've created. So basically what you would do is you would go to that folder you've created, like let's say this in your course. You can just copy and paste that link right there into our form and we will be able to see it. That's it. If you do that, we can give you 0.1 DLCs for today. And, you know, you're making that folder anyway, so why not get some credit for it, right? But that's it. I can hang around for a bit longer and answer questions. But we do have another Google Meet. So, Christy, if you want to bolt to that one, I'll hang in here. That's cool. Whatever.
Okay.
And yeah. And so let me get you the link to the slideshow again. I'm so sorry for speeding up so much at the end. We were just going long and I didn't want you not to have anything. You can always reach out to us, of course, for more information. We have gobs of videos as people joke about us now. I'm sure you have a video on that. We probably do. It says, Kyle, can you do a folder menu for groups too? Yeah, you definitely could because I would do, so Todd, the thing is you're not linking multiple groups together. So you'd just be linking to maybe documents in your case, right? So that'd be super easy to do. You would just change what the link went to is all, you know? Right. So it'd be great. It'd be a way to kind of organize visually stuff you probably have been putting in like Google Drive, right? So you could just make it a visual menu of the stuff you need for your staff. It'd be pretty seriously simple, actually. And we can help you do it. Glenda, the next one is at 1 o'clock, but it is specifically only 3 through 5 teachers and specifically only PowerSchool gradebook. It's just a help session. And then at 2 o'clock, Abby and Teresa, I believe, have using Google in there. But so you're welcome at both. Again, no RSVP. Just make sure that you get your cred. Let's do.